POPCON.
Still getting new. So you're recording this. Are we live?
We are live, but I'm also recording this, and I think
Okay, cool.
as we go along with the conversation, people will come in, people will come out. But I think let's just do this.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah. How are you, bro?
Good, bored.
Bored?
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
figure out what to do. But yeah, go ahead.
First of all, thank you for doing this. Let's
My
set.
pleasure.
Yeah. I'm going to set the reason why I'm doing this, and one of the things that we do in POPCON. Yeah, POPCON is basically the company that I'm working with. I don't know if you know that. I've been going to your gym all this while, but then we never actually talk about business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But no, roughly, yeah, here and there.
roughly.
Yeah.
POPCON is something that I'm working with my team on this. And what we actually do is that we actually help individuals and business to pop online. Now, what does this has anything to do with Jujitsu? The reason is this. The last few weeks, we have been getting a lot of requests. We're getting a lot of people coming to us, asking us to basically help them and support them on how to actually go online and to get them to basically prepared with all the things that's happening, because a lot of the stuff that's happening right now is very uncertain, right? Can we agree on that? People
Yep.
are basically not very sure what's going to happen, and especially now that the whole working from home and not being able to go out as much as we can compared to where we were before, and it's been continued all the way until the 14th of April. I realized that a lot of people, in terms of their mindset and in terms of their attitude, they go into panic mode, right?
Yeah.
And even if you take a look at people going out for shopping, they are like, seriously, they're going to this whole survival thing and all that. And I was reflecting back and taking a look back. If you're asking me if am I panicking, I would say, yeah, man, I'm panicking like hell right now. As a business owner, I am scared. I am restless because everything's very uncertain. But what I like about what's happening is that rather than going into that panic mode, I think since I've been doing Jujitsu and being like really involved with it so much, I think I'm a little bit more calm and relaxed. And I think one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people that is basically going into this whole panic mode situation, where they wanted to jump online and doing a lot of stuff online as well, forgetting the fundamentals in terms of what you need to do in terms of your attitude, in terms of your mindset, and also behavior. And what I like about Jiu-Jitsu is that since I've been doing it since last year, actively been doing it, it kind of like get me to be prepared and calm me down when it comes to going to the situation. So I think to set the context on why we are having this and why we are doing this whole podcast is to basically talk about the whole philosophy behind Jiu-Jitsu and how we can actually apply this philosophy into the real business world, right? People will go into panic mode. People will go into all of that. I remember this one time when I started Jiu-Jitsu. I've started Jiu-Jitsu I think about 5 years ago actually, right? But it's an on and off thing. I actually joined one of this gym in Kota Damansara. They have a good coach. They have a good thing going on. Tried it out for about 4 months, and then after that I got injured. Right. And then after that I went into that whole recovery mode, and then after recovery mode the whole malas thing come up. I didn't actually came back. Always intrigued with the art. I was always curious to know more. I was always wanted to learn until sometime at the end of 2018. At that time I was basically based in Phuket, Thailand. And Gracie Barra was open just where I was staying, right? And I
think we also met back in 2018, right?
Correct. We met back in 2018. Yeah. So at that time I was traveling between KL and Phuket and so on.
Correct. Yeah.
And I went in, started it, and then after that, since I came back here, I decided, you know what, let's go full-fledged with this. Let's go full force and start doing it. So just to
Mm,
set the context, let's do this first. Why not you introduce yourself first, right?
mhm.
Who you are? Why are we talking? Why am I talking to you on this? And
Okay.
maybe from there we can start and basically just dissect this whole thing, and we go from there, lah.
Yeah,
Are you okay
sure.
with it?
So yeah, my name is Brando.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Malaysian, born and bred here, but I spent half my life overseas as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the owner of the first Gracie Barra Malaysia
Okay.
here in Tropicana. So we've been open slightly past 1 year now, and you've been with us as well
Mm-hmm.
since the beginning. So yeah, apart from Jiu-Jitsu, I'm also a footballer.
Oh, okay.
So I represented Malaysia a couple of occasions, played professional here and in the Middle East, and then also playing in the NCAA in the US. So yeah, graduated in the US as well with masters in business and sports management. And yeah, now I'm here doing Gracie Bar Jiu-Jitsu. Also have another gym in Sunway as well. And also running a school during the day, principal during the day.
You're
Um,
principal. I didn't know that.
yeah. Yeah, I'm a principal of a primary and secondary school.
So you are a footballer. You do jujitsu, and you're a school
Yeah,
principal. That's kind of cool, isn't it?
yeah. Ex pro footballer, yeah, I would say. I would officially consider myself retired professionally.
Uh-huh. What gets you? How did you start the jujitsu? When were you in Brazil at that time? I know that you can speak Portuguese.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Okay.
that was all because of football, actually.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, I went to Brazil at the age of 12 all the way to about 15 years old, in pursuit of becoming a professional footballer, right? Going through one of the proper academies,
Mm.
in terms of developing your skills and know-how and things of that sort. Um, so yeah, but in terms of me going to Brazil, actually it has some sort of influence because I do have resources like coaches and etc. from Brazil, which I've brought here and you've witnessed as well.
Mhm.
Um, but Jiu-Jitsu, I would say I started with through some of my friends as well.
Mhm.
And I lived in New York when I was in New York, next to a Gracie Barra gym.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So didn't really get interested in stuff like that until a friend introduced me to Jiu-Jitsu. But before the whole Jiu-Jitsu came about, I myself as a sports enthusiast, love working out, love going to the gym and things like that. So one day I decided to open a gym, but just what type of gym was more of the question, right? Whether it's a
Mhm.
gym, whether it being an academy and things like that, maybe a little bit of both. So I decided to open a MMA gym.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
So
from there, uh, scaling and being more concentrating on jujitsu, just because of in the business point of view, retention for students, interest for students as well. They've got all the characteristics of what a successful sports business should have,
mhm.
versus the other martial art disciplines and stuff. And then shortly after, I decided to venture into Gracie Barra Jiu-Jitsu.
Mhm.
And while this time being an entrepreneur, setting up businesses and stuff like that, I ventured more into the sport as well, just to get a better understanding. Right? You can't
Mhm.
practice, or I mean, you can't preach what you don't practice, or sell what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was when I really dove into jiu-jitsu. But before that, it was just very much in the same boat like you, on and off, you know. Yeah.
How long has it been since you started?
Started Gracie Bar
Yep.
last Chinese New Year. I think we launched last March.
Mm-hmm.
So we are about 13 months now.
Okay. And if we were to compare with all the other martial arts, is there a reason why specifically you go for jiu-jitsu, or just I'm just
Yeah,
curious to
Jiu-Jitsu
know.
is definitely it's interesting. One, you learn something new every day. It is probably the most applicable martial art compared to all the other sport.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so the grading of the belt as well is a huge factor in terms of retaining students, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So business point of view, that really made sense.
Okay.
Uh, how it appeals to children all the way to different genders as well, especially women, in terms of learning a discipline such as jiu-jitsu to defend themselves versus any other sport, right? And as for the kids, how the philosophy is more of what do you do when you encounter a monster versus you becoming into one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and the whole family environment of what Gracie Barra creates, where it's a non-intimidating, it's an environment for everybody to learn something very intimidating in a non-intimidating environment. So um, the self-defense approach versus the sports approach, I think really uh, helps the cause as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
For those audience who don't has no idea what jiu-jitsu is, can you just briefly explain how jiu-jitsu is actually different compared to all the other martial arts? Because is there a history behind this? Why the Brazilian is very good at it? How is the Brazilian jiu-jitsu compared to the Japanese jiu-jitsu? If
All right, so the Japanese
yeah.
jiu-jitsu uh, is a form of self-defense, but it emphasizes a lot on strength,
Mm.
right? Strength and technique. You see, um, and then coming across Gracie and how he tweaked it and then renamed it into what we know today as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is his tweak, putting more emphasis on the techniques because he was a very small person.
Mm.
Okay, and with the techniques and things like that, he um, rebrand, renamed everything about Japanese jiu-jitsu and how a smaller person can now be dominant versus a bigger person, right? So you go against you emphasize a lot on weak points or weak spots in the body and how do you uh, tackle or how do you manipulate these joints,
Yep.
right, within the skeletal component of the body. It also teaches you to defend yourself and how do you bring your opponent to the ground, right? Many people would think once you go to the ground, you are in a position where, a position of a disadvantage. But
Yep.
with jiu-jitsu, it actually reverses that whole situation and puts you in an advantage, right? So for you to actually get an advantage, you need to bring the person to the ground. So whether you bring your attackers to the ground or they bring you to the ground, it is something where it's easily reversible
Mm.
to create an advantage to yourself. With jiu-jitsu, once you get to a certain position like a choke, an armbar, and things like that, you would cause just enough pain or the right amount of pain, which allows your aggressor or your opponents to tap or to give up.
Yep.
Yeah. So
You know what I like about this is that when you say that Gracie himself is a very small guy.
yeah,
Yeah, and okay, correct me if I'm wrong with this, because what I understand about the Gracies when they started, when they were learning this, they actually learned this on video. I think I think the sky is very angry with us today. I don't know, but what I understand was that when the Gracie learned this from the Japanese himself, right?
Yeah, from the Japanese itself. I was a
Yes.
Japanese from that went to Brazil.
Yeah. And this guy is actually teaching. He was actually teaching judo. That's what I heard.
Judo, yeah, judo with a bit of jujitsu as well because jujitsu do have some sort of judo techniques, a little bit of
Mhm.
judo and wrestling as well.
Yeah. And
Uh,
if you take a look at where they are today, they've kind of like evolved quite a lot. That's how
yeah, they've
that's how I say it.
evolved
Yeah.
a lot. So one thing about jiu-jitsu is there is a structure, yes, where different schools are concerned, but
Mhm.
jiu-jitsu as a whole is a sport that's evolving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the world champions and practitioners who's dedicated their life on it is still evolving. They are still
Mhm.
learning.
Mhm.
So I think it's very much applicable to businesses and our changing environment, right? Where we all have to evolve as well and change and adapt to different situation now being the COVID virus and,
Yeah.
and the fact that everybody's at home.
Mhm. Um, in your perspective, um, what are some of the philosophies that you have basically gained from this whole jiu-jitsu experience that you feel that entrepreneurs can actually learn from?
Mm, well, the Gracie Barra philosophies are, I mean, I'm going to name the Gracie Barra philosophies,
Yeah.
and then after that, I will pick what I think applies to me the most or what I've taken the most out of, right? So
Yeah.
one is, of course, the brotherhood.
Mhm.
Second would be cooperation. Third, discipline. Fourth, respect. Fifth, continuous improvement. Sixth, leadership. Eight, seventh, inspiration. And nine, enjoy. So, of course, um, first thing I would pick out of that is probably discipline. You need to be disciplined in what you do. Um, you can't decide to, if you want to be good at it, you need to be consistent, you need to be disciplined, you need to push, keep working hard in order for you to accomplish any sort of goals. Um, Without discipline, I think it's difficult for you to build on any other foundation. If you want to apply it to anything, right? Whether it's your business, whether it's your family, your marriage, you need to be disciplined. You need to be able to just to wake up every day and say, okay, this is my goal. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to be disciplined. And I'm going to continue moving forward. All right. Second is, of course, respect. Uh, you need to respect, regardless who's on the mats, who you go on a business deal with, right? Uh, you need to give that person some sort of benefit of the doubt and respect them, and not come from a point of view where you know everything.
Yeah.
Because if you don't respect them, you also prevent yourself from learning from them, right? Yeah, because we are an ecosystem. Human beings learn off and feed off each other.
Mhm.
So the basis of that is through respect, because who knows what in a business dealing what that guy or that team or that company really has to offer to you, right? Things that you may not even know. You go in without any respect, whatever they've thought about, presenting to you, or maybe any extras, all of a sudden is taken off the table,
Yeah.
right? Now the second thing would be, third thing would be continuous improvement.
Mhm.
As a business owner and even as an athlete, if you're comfortable and if you don't pursue any sort of improvement, then there's really no point. Because tomorrow somebody else is going to be better than you, somebody else is going to overtake you. There's always somebody below you or behind you at whatever point waiting to take your spot, or even more worse, go way past you. Right? In sport, you see new developments of players coming up every day. So guys in the front are actually pressured by these guys, the new guys that are coming, right? So guys in the front, guys who's already made it professional, who's already played at the highest level, still need to find some sort of continuous improvement. They don't wake up a day and just chill and say, okay, I've accomplished it all. No, they say, okay, what else can I do today? What else I can do to make myself better? Um, what new stuff, I can do to keep, to have some sort of security as well. And of course, continuous improvement gives you a lot of encouragement, a lot of motivation for you to see yourself improving and things like that. It does a lot of good to your self-esteem as well. And finally, of course, enjoy. You need to enjoy what you're doing. So if you don't enjoy it, it's almost impossible to wake up. You find yourself waking up and dragging yourself, like how your mom would be dragging you to school back in the day. So you don't want to have that weight on top of you, because as you get older, you don't have anybody to drag you and make sure you do certain things. You want to be able to get up and do things and try and get or achieve your goals, and by and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, this four would be probably the biggest thing I take upon myself personally.
I I remember my second. I don't know if this is the second or is it the third lesson. Uh, this is me when I was in Phuket. I was in Phuket and it was the second lesson. I think it was the second lesson. And I had this one guy who has been doing Jiu-Jitsu for quite some time. And I was basically rolling with him. Right?
Right.
So I remember I was quite big at the time. I was, I think, about 125 kilo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And basically I was really tired and I was almost wanted to give up. And I remember this at that time the coach at the time was Coach Shimka. He opened up Gracie Barra in Chalong, and he told me this one very simple principle: when you are down, be like a fish, right? Instead of being a dead fish, be like a fish and start moving. And just move, 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 move. What I like about Jiu-Jitsu is that every time when we go for the classes, there's always something. It's not just the physical part of it; it's also the mental part of it that you can bring back home, right? Um, and I think for parents, if they can actually start their kids early and young with this kind of lessons, I think it'll be quite awesome, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. What's your take on
Because
this? Yeah.
uh, jiu-jitsu, yeah, one of the main things that we actually you mentioned kids is getting them involved in jiu-jitsu and allowing them to encounter different and difficult positions, right? Um, but when you're in a difficult position, it doesn't mean it's over for you, right? It's not over until you tap or time is finished, right? Jiu-jitsu is concerned, right?
Yeah.
So according to what your coach said is don't move, don't stop. Um, you move like a fish, so you have to constantly you want to say struggle, but a struggle that's eventually you hope to have some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not giving up when uh, your situation may seem like it's over for you.
Yeah.
That's why in jiu-jitsu, when many people who are in guard,
Mm-hmm.
although they are at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
when many people feel like it's a disadvantage, but many people like being at the bottom and turning it into advantage. Many guys can, from a guard, finish off the opponents.
Yeah.
So when you're in side control or receiving a side control,
Yeah.
it's difficult to recover guard, right? But there's always a chance, there's always a hope. You just need to place in your mind that it's not over. Keep moving, keep pushing, keep fighting. Um, stay calm, because eventually there will be a little space that opens up, right? And that's where you capitalize and you recover your guard, or you gain some sort of advantage in your previously disadvantaged position. So
Which is, I think
kids
it's a,
who,
yeah.
yeah, for kids who start this young, right,
Yeah.
they become tough, they're confident regardless whatever position they're in. They don't give up. And kids being kids, they're not as negative as adults, right? If the coach tells them that they can do it, they genuinely believe that they can do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which
their
is a very,
mindset is completely different.
yeah, which is very interesting. I I think it's a very interesting lesson
Mm-hmm.
because either you are on top or you're at the bottom. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, you just need to find a way. Right? Even though you're on
Right.
top, doesn't mean that you're in a better position. That's what I like about
Correct.
this.
Yeah, it goes back to the whole, continuous improvement thing. If you're at the top, you need to make sure you stay at the top, right? Yeah, you still need to work to keep that person who's probably has a guard or whatever in that position, and make sure he doesn't advance or to do anything that puts yourself in danger as well. So having that idea and concept for kids, I think is really going to help them, not just in jujitsu, but in school. Uh, many of them get bad grades, and because of the society we live in, they think it's over for them, it's over for their life. But um, it's really not. It's you can come back and study harder and get better grades, or maybe grades is not the only thing for you. Maybe you're more the art person, right?
Yep.
So it's never accepting negatives in your life, whether told by people or whether society tells it to you. So it's something that I think is very, very applicable to all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I remember when I was, in fact, when I go to the gym, you have all these philosophies that you actually put
Right.
on the wall. And one of the things that I like is this is something that I remembered was seeing when I first did Gracie Barra. I don't know if you're familiar with the 12 commandments of Jiu-Jitsu.
Sorry. Say
The,
that again.
the 12 commandments of Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, one of it, so it's created by Master Carlos Gracie Senior.
Right. Right.
And one of the things that I like about it is be so strong that nothing can disturb the peace of your mind. Like, talk to all the people about happiness, health, and prosperity. Give to all your friends the feeling of being valued.
Mm-hmm.
Look at things by the enlightened point of view and update your optimism on reality.
Hmm.
Think only about the best, work only for the best, and always expect the best. Be as just and enthusiastic about other victories as you are with yours. Forget about past mistakes and focus your energy on the victories of tomorrow. Always make those around you happy and keep a smile for all people who talk to you. Apply the largest amount of your time on self-improvement and no time in criticizing others. Be big enough so you can feel unsatisfied. Be noble enough so you can feel anger. Be strong enough so you can feel fear. And be happy enough so you can feel frustrations. Hold a good opinion about yourself and communicate that to the world, not through dissonant words, but through good work. Believe yourself that the world on your side as long as you stay loyal to the best of yourself. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
Yeah. It's very deep. uh, I guess it's very similar to what we try to do,
Yeah.
incorporating jiu-jitsu in life. It's not just about learning the sport, but what you can learn from it, right?
Yeah.
yeah, you list out many things that is very, very applicable, or things that you wouldn't usually hear doing any other sport,
Yeah. I
right?
feel there's a correlation between sports and also real life. I think there's a
Oh,
deep
a
connection
hundred
towards that.
percent,
Yeah.
100%, yeah. This mindset that I had was there ever since I started playing football, right? So coming back to the point of my life where I was deciding what gym should I open, I decided to open a sporting gym, a gym that allows people to learn a sport, right? Because I don't believe in actually just exercising, right, to stay healthy, because there's a steep curve where when you do exercise, right? You go up, you get so motivated, and then you decline at a incredible pace,
Yeah.
from maybe working out every day to 3 times a week to once a week to once a month to once in 3 months, and then it's over. So when you do a sport, that's why I do personal training as well. But even before I even pitch personal trainings, I encourage them to pick up a sport for those that don't already have, right? Because there's so many things you can learn from sports, and you're not doing it by yourself. You're doing it with people that you like, teammates, people that you trust, right? And whether you don't start off trusting these people, but you eventually do because of the trust that you need to have within the sport in order to achieve the goal together. You see, in Jiu-Jitsu, you need to trust your rolling partner in the fact that he will let go of you when you tap, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so my advice to people is to pick up a sport, whether it's jiu-jitsu, football, basketball, tennis, badminton, which is big here in Malaysia,
Yeah.
in order for you to stay active. Um, I think that's the best way, and not just stay active, but many lessons and values you can learn from sport itself.
Yeah.
When I was in the US, sports was compulsory for everybody in the school to take part in. And statistics shows that employers like to employ people who represented college, who represented school in any sort of sports, because they've got a high level of discipline. They respect the coaches, those in authority. They come on time, and they don't. They know it's punishment time, and you don't even need to tell them.
Yeah.
They just go and do their X number of push-ups, X number of laps that they have to do, and things like that is very important characteristics and values to bring into the working life, to the working world, whether you being an entrepreneur or an employee. Yeah. So you're spot on when you say it has sports has got a huge influence. I would say it's probably the biggest influence in my life.
Mm.
Mm.
Um, it's gonna be quite difficult for people to do jiu-jitsu right now, though. So
Yeah.
let's go back. So if now maybe there's an advice for people who want to start at home, since now we can't go to the
All
gym
right.
and all that, right? If especially now with the whole COVID-19, and now you're stuck with your spouse at home. I know what I like about our gym is that I notice we have a gym member who's the whole entire family is in it.
Yeah, we have actually uh, two,
Yeah,
two families,
two
all
families.
families. Yeah,
Yeah,
two families.
but it's quite enrolling to see mom and dad and their kids coming together to the
Hmm.
gym and doing it. And when I saw their posts, they are still practicing at home and they're sharing their own mat and all that. I think that's quite encouraging to do. So if
Yeah.
for newbies, and if they are interested to learn and they want to discover now, since they're going to be stuck at home, what would be your advice to them? What are some of the things that they
Uh,
can actually do?
okay. Good thing is that online shopping is not closed. It is still functioning. So there are many like important, I must say, many affordable, what do you call it, equipments that you can actually purchase online, right? And some of it being the jigsaw mats. You don't need to get quality mats that you find in your gyms. So you can get that, and then of course you can get instructional tutorials and things like that online from Gracie Barra online as well, and even from us here at Malaysia as well.
Yeah.
So what else was I gonna say? That's too the biggest problem for you to sort this out is to find and what do you call it, a partner, right? Like you say, you've got families that do it great. You've got sons, wives, or husbands, or whatever it is. But if you're staying alone, I think that's the biggest challenge, right? I guess the only way is to get a friend to come over, or you go over to a friend's place to get that any sort of technique, where technique is concerned, right?
Yeah.
Certain drills you're still allowed, or it's still okay for you to do it alone, but that's after a while you just.
I find drills to be quite tough too. It's not an easy thing. It's like a combination of yoga and hit.
Yeah, I know. Jiu-Jitsu, I think is probably up there in one of the most toughest sports, actually. Yeah. I'm coming from a game that you play 90 minutes, sometimes even 120, and which is football, right? And then you go into Jiu-Jitsu where it's a 5-minute roll. Initially thinking it's a piece of cake, right? What's 5 minutes when I can do 90 minutes? But the requirement on the body within that 5 minutes is incredible.
Yeah.
I after my first roll, I just found and found myself just giving it so much respect for the people that do it. So the drills, as you were saying, yeah, it is difficult. It is very difficult. It attacks muscles that you never knew you had, right?
Yeah. I'm just looking at some of the solo drills where I'm just practicing even the shrimp, just doing that itself. It's like a total body workout on its own.
Right.
If you put in all of the elements of the things that we actually learn in the gym, the first warm up itself is already like quite taxing if you're not familiar with it.
Yeah. It is. It is very, very taxing. That's why it's important for you to like it, because you need to enjoy it, right? Because you also need to have some sort of idea of what the end goal is. If not, you'll be wondering, why am I doing these things? And it is very difficult, but what is the purpose? I'm going to venture into something more fun and things like that. So that's the things that you need to consider.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to business, I think this could be like this is going to be my last few questions. What would be your advice? Let's not look into just business. I think to people when it comes to applying what maybe there's certain philosophy that you want to share that can basically help people to go through this whole tough times and look into something good at it. I don't know. If there's any advice they want to give to people right now, what would that be? Especially at this time.
Advice now is, sorry, jiu-jitsu wise or business wise?
From a jiu-jitsu perspective to business owners.
Right. So of course we are a lot of people, especially who's not in the online business, find themselves in a tough spot now.
Yeah.
Just like jiu-jitsu, you are probably in the worst position, right? Maybe 3/4 there to tapping out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, going back to what Hugh said is to keep on moving, keep on thinking. Um, as for a business point of view, um, wherever there's problems, there's opportunity to create solutions. So facing with huge problems now, I think if we just stay calm, keep thinking, keep moving, keep moving forward, researching, and I feel if you're persistent and if you don't give up, eventually you will find that little space which allows you to recover your position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Jiu-Jitsu is a game of chess, human game of chess. As business owners, as entrepreneurs, we are in a position more of a strategist. So we just need to be patient as well, because right now many opportunities will come out. Maybe opportunities is not yet out,
Yeah.
but eventually it will. So we still have time. Uh, the ref hasn't blown the whistle yet.
Yeah.
The clock hasn't reached the zero yet. So until then, it's glad and very happy to say that it's still much hope for everybody.
Remember your first step? Remember when you first tapped? I don't know if you still remember the experience when you need to tap.
Oh yeah, I hated it, but yeah. But it's a humbling process, frustrating process, but once you get somebody else to tap, then you see the whole benefits of it as well. Um, but yes, I do remember the first time I tapped.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was for an armbar actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So not really knowing really what is an armbar until I actually felt my elbows almost snap, and then
Okay.
instead of tapping, I was screaming and then tapping at the same time. So it's hard to find yourself in that position, and like, wow, it's an eye opener.
I remember my first step. It was when I wanted to choke. Right.
I didn't see.
Yeah. I felt shit after that. It was someone who has more experience, and he was actually smaller than me, so much more smaller, and it was a very humbling experience in which I think, for me, I see that is a lesson on its own, which is standing up tall after that. Yeah, a lot of people don't. I think I like to be realistic. With the way things are nowadays, there will be people who will still struggle. They'll be the fish. They're in a position where they're getting their choke, and then you still find some position you can still move around and all that, right?
Right.
And there will be people that will be tapping, I think.
Yeah.
And managing that feeling and managing the experience after you go to that tap, I think it's something that entrepreneurs need to have. One of the best lessons that I like about Jujitsu is that there is no failure. There's only lessons.
It's only lesson learned, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And tapping, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
Tapping is way better than losing an arm or getting choked and being put to sleep, right? So there goes your chance of ever fighting again or continuing your business, right?
Yeah.
Because it might be too late, might be a bit. Some injuries you can still recover from, some are not recoverable. So sometimes tapping is a way to just say, okay, maybe I don't know this position or I don't know the situation that I'm in, but let me tap and try again and see maybe how I can adapt my style into maybe avoiding that whole position again.
Yeah.
So sometimes as business entrepreneurs, we get so locked into a single idea that it eventually injures us,
Yeah.
metaphorically speaking, injures your company, like it would injure your ankles or your elbows, where then you'd have to take a longer break, if you can recover. If not, then what, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes stepping is also letting go of an idea and maybe venturing into something else that you feel might be more of a potential.
It's always an
So
opportunity. It's always a lesson.
always opportunities everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
So I mean, from your point of your experience, I don't know if you've um, always, when you roll, you always end up in the same position. I doubt that that's happened to you. It's always different positions. How do you improvise with applying what you've learned into that certain position, right? Whether you're
Yeah.
on top, on the side, whether you've given your back, whether they've got a hold of your legs. So you're always encountered with many different situations
Yeah.
in Jiu-Jitsu and also as an entrepreneur. So there's many positives to look at this. Yeah, for people who built over the years what they've built, especially if it's a non-online platform, it's really hard for them. It's very discouraging, I think, heartbreaking for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go through this situation, but there is still much solutions to provide to problems like this.
Yeah.
So that's something we can't avoid, right? Environments, settings are all changing as we go on.
You can't, but of course, you can have a different perspective on it. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I also remember one of the things that there was this one guy I think it was from your other gym. So it was, I think, a few days after the competition. It was a Copa. All right. I think he's from Africa or something like that. He's now looking in Japan. I
Right.
remember that. Yeah, I
Andrew.
remember that dude, Andrew. Yeah. So I remembered that class really well because I went to the class and I actually rolled with him.
Hmm.
And he just got his blue belt.
He's blue belt, right? And
Yeah,
he actually started off with us, started jiu-jitsu from scratch with us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he came to me and said, I went to him and said, "Bro, congratulations for the blue belt." And I like the way he responded back. Yeah, it's just another struggle on the spot. I was like, I'm loving this. I'm loving the lessons. I'm loving the. I think whenever I go to the gym, it's like a time off for me to just learn and
And
it's
reflect,
just
right?
yeah, it's a good reflection. But yeah,
Yeah, my reflections in the gym happens when I've rolled 3-4 rounds and then I'm about to die at the corner, trying to recover. Doing is when you reflect on a lot of things, because your body is just so dead and tired, uh, where you're not um, forced to do what your body wants anymore.
yeah,
You're forced to just sit in the corner, and at that point, your mind is the only thing that's working. So during that time, you really reflect on, yeah, your jujitsu at one point, but at the same time, I don't know why, but this is for me personally, right? It's where everything comes to mind. Um, you know, my future endeavors, things that's happened in the past. How can I learn from that and apply it? And all these sort of things come to my mind after a crazy rolling sessions and things like that. And then, of course, after everything's done, uh, having conversations with the professors and things like that just helps provide some sort of comfort as well. Yeah,
yeah.
because you're not the only one going through these sort of things.
Having a coach help in many ways.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they help a lot. Shout out to Tato, Nego,
Nico,
if they're listening. Yeah,
even Mika too. If he's there.
Mika.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. Any last words, bro, before we end this? Anything you want to say? You want to talk a little bit about Gracie Barra? Oh,
Last words. I
yeah.
would say everybody hang in there, right? Weather the storm. I hope some of you find opportunities and solutions to the problems that we're having, or to your problems that you guys are having. I really encourage you to start any sort of sport. If you don't know what sport, Jiu-Jitsu is definitely something I would recommend as a sport, as something to as a tool for you to uh, learn life lessons. Yeah. Gracie Baja is here in Tropicana, Damansara. We've got a proper curriculum and structure, a very, very friendly environment, no pressure to perform, uh, just pressure to show up actually. And that's it. And after that, it's all fun. Um, yeah, I think that's about it.
Well, lastly, thank you so much for being here.
Hey,
I
thank
enjoyed the
you for having
conversation.
me.
Yeah, I enjoyed the
Yeah.
conversations. We never actually do this whenever we're in gym.
Mm,
So
yeah, I know.
it's kind of cool to have this conversation again. And thank you. I learned a lot from you today. And I hope the people that's
Thank you. Thanks for
viewing
having me.
this will be learning something as well. Right?
Mm,
Right? Yes, up, bro.
all
Thanks so
right.
much.
Thanks. Let me know. I'm more than happy to come back again.
Will do.
All right. You take care. I mean, bye.
Okay. Let me start the live stream first, yeah? There you go. Done. Start recording.
Popcorn.